It's the Community Corner with KevyKev. We are back at you, and wow, we don't throw the term icon around a lot, okay? But I truly have one here, ladies and gentlemen, because I know if you're from the St. Louis area, even if you're not from the area, you've certainly heard about this around the country. You've heard of Contemporary Productions, and we are so happy to have joining us on the show the founder and president of Contemporary Productions. When he founded it just a few years after coming out of high school, we're so happy to have joining us Steve Schankman. Steve, how are you? And thanks for being with us.
Hey, man, everything is great, Kevy. Great to be with you. Great to be out in a nice, beautiful, sunny day in St. Louis, looking at Forest Park from my office. Can't wait to the 26th and 27th of August, because we're going to be putting on a big festival in Forest Park, as you know.
And we're going to talk about that too, Steve. It's the Evolution Festival, and like you say, it happens August 26th and 27th in Forest Park, and the theme is music, bourbon, and barbecue.
How do you beat that? We're the barbecue capital of the world. I mean, the state of Missouri, because you got to give Kansas City its kudos.
Yeah.
But when you think about St. Louis, you think about Sugar Fire. I just had Sugar Fire over the weekend. I had that great brisket sandwich
that
Michael
man
Johnson makes.
Yes, sir.
And you think about bourbon is like the drink. When we were growing up, all we could afford was, that bottle that you unscrew, that wine bottle. And then we make it into a lava lamp after that. But now bourbon is the drink. I thought just for men, but women and men, that's their big mixer drink is bourbon. So bourbon and barbecue. Now, we're going to have all kinds of food and all kinds of beverages, whether they're alcoholic or non-alcoholic, but that's our theme, because we feel that fits the St. Louis community.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at this lineup that you're bringing in here, Steve, too, as well. On Saturday, I'm looking at this, the Black Keys, the Black Crows, Brittany Howard, Cautious Clay, Modern English, Nikki Lane, Sugar Hill Gang, the Knuckles, Punk Lady Apple. Then on Sunday, you come back with Brandy Carly, Ben Harper, the Innocent Criminals, Ice Cube, Morgan Wade. How about that? Mitch Kander. Oh man, you have put one together here.
Here's the deal. I got two great talent guys that work for me, my partners. I got Jeff Jarrett, who's been with me almost 20 years, goes to more concerts in a week than I go in a month or a year sometimes. And we got Joe Litvey, who worked for me back in the 90s. Then he went to work for one of the biggest festival producers in the country, Danny Wimmer. And Danny Wimmer does the Bourbon and Beyond Festival in Louisville. Very similar to what we're doing here, or we're very similar to what he did there. But the main thing about it, I'm in St. Louis all my life. Went to U City High School, went to UMSL, like we said.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity, inclusion. Do things that everybody wants to come to. So we got everything from hip hop to pop. I mean, you think about it, and you think about Sugar Hill Gang. Their first record got its first airplay right here on WESL radio.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Gates.
That's right.
I mean, you guys, even at Casey, where iHeart has now, they weren't playing 14-minute songs. They were playing albums sometimes. Well, maybe Inaugural La Vida or Layla, they're pretty long. But my point is this. If I can't have a diverse lineup of everything from Brandy Carlisle to Ice-T, I'm going to have an Ice-T, to Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Think about Ice Cube. He's still relevant. He's in that new movie, the Ninja Turtles movie. He's one of the voices.
Yep.
Still relevant, TV and movies. And then when you can add to it Brittany Howard and Brandy Carlisle. Brandy Carlisle won 3 Grammys a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to do the first year something for everybody. It's not easy to do, but I wouldn't have done this festival. I haven't taken a risk on a show since I sold Contemporary, the first Contemporary, in 1998, 24 years ago. I mean, that's a long time ago. But I saw a need in St. Louis that we needed a community-wide festival, and that's why we're going to do it, and it's coming up real quick, and we just want people to support it. St. Louis has supported it. The state of Missouri is the sponsor of one of our stages, Missouri Tourism. Lindenwood University, which is out in St. Charles, sponsoring our second stage. We have Anheuser-Busch, and we have Schnucks, and we have so many regional arts commissions, so many great sponsors that are civic-minded people that have joined my team here and my players here to make this thing a big success year one.
Boy, that is some lineup when you talk about all the history and on all just the business and the corporate sponsorship that you say that you had there. But when you talk about you and your career, and you said it yourself. We were talking about it during the break. You just a couple of years out of high school, and you began promoting concerts. I mean, how did you get started, and how difficult was that?
Well, first of all, put it to you mildly, and the way I like to see it, I'm just too old now to live somebody else's dream. This is the dream I had when I was playing the trumpet in bands back in the '60s. I was playing in the Motown, not the Motown Review, that's my new band, but I was playing in the Impact Soul Review with Charlie Tuna was my MC. I had the Young Hearts and I had other singers.
Tuna was your MC.
He was my MC. Oh yeah, Tuna was. We opened up for the Temptations in 1968.
Wow!
And only that night, if you watch the movie or the Temptations documentary, was the night that that David Ruffin quit, and they got on the phone and called Dennis Edwards. It's portrayed in the documentary. That's what Dennis joined, was right after we played with the Temptations. I think it was in February of 1968. But I got started being a trumpet player. I had bands. I'd booked 2 bands, 3 bands. I was buying bands for all the high schools and colleges, fraternity parties, Wash U, St. Louis U. And we started to do this around the Midwest. And some schools, like on Burroughs, they wanted to have Rotary Connection. Well, Rotary Connection was a big act back in those days with Minnie Ripperton. Ladue High School wanted the Four Tops. Other schools wanted CTA, which became Chicago. Transit Authority became Chicago. So I said to my partner, Irv, why don't we do concerts? And he thought it was a great idea. And we went ahead to the Grateful Dead in 1969, which is a very famous show at the Fox Theater because they wrote the song Truckin'. Because they got busted in New Orleans and coming to St. Louis, they wrote the song Truckin', which became one of their biggest hits. So I did them back in the 60s, and I did them in the 90s before we lost Jerry Garcia. So that's how I got started. One after another, the English Invasion came 10 years after, Peter Frampton, Humble Pie, Joe Cockroach. So, I mean, that's how we got started, was just doing small concerts. They got to be big concerts. And by 1978, which was only 10 years later, we were doing the Rolling Stones. They played the Opera House, 1978. Can you believe that? 3,000 seats. 3,000 seats at $10. They didn't make a lot of money. It's not like playing a stadium. I mean, think about that, $10 tickets. And we've been doing it ever since. So, but in 98, when I sold the company, what became Live Nation, which meant I sold Riverport, I sold our interest in the pageant with Joe Edwards. I basically went into working for them for a couple of years. Then I left and started Contemporary 2.0, which was more an event company. Although we would book a lot of entertainers, anything from Kenny Chesney, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld I just had in town, Starship. So we would book a lot of entertainment for private events and for events where people would buy the acts from us, and we would produce the concert, like Fair St. Louis, for example, which we booked for many years. And that was the business I was in until this. And when we saw an opportunity, Joe Litvag, my partner, who used to work for him back in the 90s, came back to be my partner with this, or I became his partner, 50-50, was because we saw a need for this festival with 2 St. Louis boys, and we want to do it in St. Louis, and we want to be the ones that do it because we're not dealing with out-of-town producers that come in and they can leave. We're committed. We just hope people, and we're sure people will back us up and attend the concert, go on the festival, evolutionfestival.com, buy some tickets. There's a lot of tickets available, at least in the general mission area. Some of the VIP tickets are going fast because people have now decided we're coming. We're going to make that commitment and be there for the 2 days. And we have one-day tickets available too, but most people, 90% of the people want to buy the 2-day experience. And that's what it's about. It used to be you want to buy a ticket to a concert, Kevin, but now what it's about, what is the experience going to be? It's going to be food and beverages and art and lots of displays and exhibits and hands-on things to do. And on a beautiful piece of ground called Langenberg Field in Forest Park, never had a festival like this. And it's right off the Metrolink line on the north side of the park. Easy access.
Boy, that is it. That is sensational. Again, it's called the Evolution Festival. It's going to take place August 26th and 27th, as Steve said, in Forest Park. And again, that theme, music, bourbon, and barbecue. And he's just got an incredible lineup coming in for that. And, I just have a question, too. I mean, you're a pretty young guy. And so, like you say, in 1978, you're calling and Mick Jagger, and you're bringing the Rolling Stones in this. What was the challenge? Was that difficult to get that done?
Well, truthfully, they would have liked to have played Busch Stadium. Busch Stadium wasn't available. So the manager and the agent called us to find something small because we still want to play the market. Because by then, back then, a lot of acts were still traveling on buses before everybody was on an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the only thing available was the Kiel Opera House, which is now the Steeple Theater. And they said, let's do it. Let's do it. And then we did them also in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Then we did them in St. Louis and Busch Stadium. No, we've had a long-standing relationship with Nick and the guys, and when they were here a couple of years back, I was with some of them over here at the Ritz-Carlton, got a chance to hang out with those guys, and I mean, they're still my favorite act of all time. I mean, I love the Who, and I love a lot of acts, but I mean, they're the Rolling Stones, and man, they gather no moss. But it's our time, it's our town, it's our evolution. Come out, people, and see have a great experience, see some tremendous entertainment. You can't buy a ticket to see one act for $100, and you could have bought a ticket for Evolution for 2 days. So we try to make it as affordable so everybody has a chance to come and enjoy the 2 days out in Forest Park, Langenberg Field, evolutionfestival.com.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going to have 3 stages, is that right?
No, 2 stages. One on the east side is Lindenwood University. Okay. On the west side, which is a bigger stage because of the acts that will be playing there, although they're great acts on both stages. That will be the Missouri Tourism Stage. So visit Missouri. So that's going to be sponsored by the state of Missouri. And it just shows you how people realize how important it is to have a festival. Hotel rooms. How about going to the zoo that morning, have lunch at the art museum, go to the history museum and see music and stuff there, and then hop on over to the festival. You open the doors at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock, the first show starts on the Lindenwood University stage. And then we go from there to about 11 o'clock each night. Get people home before midnight. Easy to get there. Metrolink. We have rideshare, Ubers. A lot of people will park at some of the institutions earlier in the day. But people will come if you put on a great show. And I think we got a great show and a great experience. And I thank you. I know you do the community outreach program there at iHeartRadio. I appreciate you calling today and asking about it.
Oh, well, we thank you so much again and appreciate you taking out the time. Again, it's going to be August 26th and 27th at Forest Park, the Evolution Festival, and a lot to go on. And one final question I just want to ask you. It looks like is that the new approach now? As you mentioned, you can go to the zoo, you can take in the history museum, and then you can also get in a great concert. Is that kind of the promoters like yourself? Is that kind of the approach now?
It's my approach. I was chairman of the zoo for 7 years. If you drive into the park and see that big steel sculpture, that's the Schankman Family Plaza. I care a lot about the zoo. I care a lot about Forest Park Forever. Forest Park Forever is our recipient of $1 a ticket as our charity. So that's good money for them. And then the Art Museum, matter of fact, we're doing that festival with the Art Museum. It's their festival this Saturday, which is the 50 years of hip hop. So I hope make that play as well. And then also the History Museum. So by starting the show, and this was Joe Litvak, my partner's idea, later in the afternoon, that gives people time to enjoy these great institutions in the #1 park in the nation. So I wouldn't say that's what other promoters in other cities are doing, but that's what we're doing, because this is a community festival to bring not only people from around the state and around the Midwest, but to bring the people of St. Louis to what now can be said, we have our own festival. Because they're going to Coachello's and they're going to the Heritage Festival in New Orleans and they're going to Bourbon Beyond in Louisville. Now you don't even have to leave home. It's about a 10, 15, 20-minute drive for everybody to come out and enjoy this festival and have fun during the day. And hotels, we have hotel packages that we sold, because we do have a lot of people coming in from out of town. And I'm going to tell you this, there's been some celebrities there. You're going to know other people that aren't on our list. I can't tell you who's going to show up, but you're going to see people there if you're in the crowd. You go, did you see? Because in 55 years of doing concerts, I've made a lot of friends. Now, they're going to be in the St. Louis area, and they're from St. Louis. I say a few of those people will stop by.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Steve, once again, thank you so much for taking the time out again. It's going to happen on the 26th and 27th of August, Forest Park. It is Music, Bourbon, and Barbecue, the Evolution Festival. Steve, 55 years of promoting concerts and just still doing a great job at Contemporary Productions 2.0. Steve, thank you so much for taking out the time, and we're going to look out for this Evolution Festival.
I'm going to look out for you and Edwin.
Yes, sir. All right.
Okay.
That's Steve
Talk to you
Schankman.
later.
Thank you so much.